Hello everyone, welcome to Aditi's classroom. Today we'll be learning about semiconductor diodes and its applications. So before directly going into what is a diode, we have to learn about some basics before going to diode. So basics like what is a conductor, what is a insulator, and what is a semiconductor. We all know that a conductor is a device wherein we don't have a band gap between valence band and conduction band. In case of insulator, there is a wide band gap between valence band and conduction band. Therefore, even though if you apply any external voltage to this insulator, the free electrons will not be jumping from valence band to conduction band for conduction. So, but in case of semiconductor, the band gap between a valence band and the conduction band is in between that of a conductor and an insulator. So, a semiconductor is classified basically into two types. One is an intrinsic semiconductor, which we call it as a pure form of semiconductor, and one more is extrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic we call it as a pure form, extrinsic we call it as doped one. Okay, so we wantedly dope some impurity to the intrinsic semiconductor to form a extrinsic semiconductor, and depending on type of dopant what we dope, we classify this extrinsic semiconductor into two. One is N type and one more is P type. Okay, if we dope pentavalent group material to this intrinsic semiconductor, we will get a N type semiconductor. If we dope a trivalent material, then we'll get a P type material. So once we get P type and N type, if we combine P and N type, then we will form a diode. Okay, so we all know that in case of N type material, electrons are the majority carriers, and in case of P type material, holes are the majority carriers. So once we combine this P and N type, then electrons from the majority concentration area, they move towards P type, and holes will move towards N type. Therefore, a small structure is formed near the junction. We call it as a depletion region. This is still an unbiased diode. So unbiased in the sense we do not have any external connection to this particular diode. Okay, so once we connect the external supply, depending on how we connect the external supply, we say that the diode is forward biased or it may be a reverse biased. For example, the connection now what we have made, a battery which is connected like this. This is the positive terminal of the battery and this is the negative terminal of battery. When positive is connected to positive, negative is connected to negative, we say that this particular diode is forward biased. If you look at the symbol of the diode, this is something like this. We call this terminal as anode and we call this terminal as cathode. Okay, so once we make the connection, now we know that this particular diode is forward biased. Now if we go on increasing this supply, then the depletion region width goes on decreasing. once the depletion region width is decreased, then if you still go on increasing this voltage supply, what happens? The current starts to move in the diode. In the second case, if we make the connection like this, wherein this is negative terminal and this is positive terminal, we know this is positive and negative. In this case, we say that this diode is reverse biased. If you increase the reverse voltage, then the depletion region width will increase. Therefore, we say that the diode does not conduct in case of reverse biased. So now we came to know about forward biased and reverse biased. If we draw the voltage versus current characteristics of a diode, let me draw the same structure here. This is P, this is N. Now we say that this is forward biased, and if we draw the another structure where the supply is reversed, we say this particular structure is reverse biased. Now if we connect a voltmeter across this diode and a ammeter in series with the diode, okay, then if we draw the voltage versus current characteristics, then initially when the diode is forward biased, even though you increase the external voltage, you will find that only small current is flowing, that is due to minority carriers, and after that, once the depletion region vanishes completely, then we find that the current increases. Okay, so this particular point we call it as cut-in voltage or knee voltage. This is the forward biased condition. Okay, so after cut-in voltage or knee voltage, what happens? As you go on increasing the external supply voltage, the current will starts to increase. In case of reverse biased, when you increase the reverse voltage, we know that the depletion region width will goes on increasing. Therefore, we find that there is no flow of current. Even though you increase a large voltage, there is no flow of current, but a small current is flowing, which is due to minority charge carriers. We also see that after reaching this particular point, we call this point as breakdown region, breakdown voltage. Okay, up to breakdown voltage there is no flow of current. Once the external voltage is equal to breakdown voltage of the diode, after attaining this point, there is a sharp increasing current. Okay, so we also say that the diode is preferred to be operated in forward bias only, not in reverse bias, because if we use the diode in reverse biased, there may be chances of damage to the device. Okay, so therefore always we prefer that the diode to be operated only in forward bias condition. Okay, so this is about voltage versus current characteristics of a diode. Now if we see the applications of diode, what might be the applications of diode? Okay, so the applications of diode are, it is used in one of the very important topic called as rectifier. So rectifier is a device which converts AC to DC, alternating current to a direct current. Okay, so in this particular circuit we use the diode. Rectifiers are basically classified into two. One is half wave rectifier and one more is full wave rectifier. And this full wave rectifier is again classified into two. One is center tapped rectifier and one more is bridge rectifier. Okay, so the application of diode is in a rectifier circuit. So rectifier circuit is one which converts AC to DC, and rectifiers are classified into two. One is half wave rectifier and one more is full wave rectifier. And this full wave rectifier is again classified into two. One is center tapped rectifier and one more is bridge rectifier. Now we will study about the half wave rectifier. So the circuit diagram of half wave rectifier is somewhat like this. We have a transformer. We use a step down transformer. This is the primary winding where we give primary voltage, that is 230 volt, 50 hertz supply given to primary winding, and here we use a single diode in case of half wave rectifier, which is again connected to RL, where it is called as load resistor, and here is where we take the output. This is the diode. If you look at the working of this diode, initially we know that alternating current is given to the input supply. Alternating current means it's a sinusoidal waveform. This is the input supply and this is output supply, output what we get from this load resistor. Now, when this first half cycle comes across secondary, if we define these two terminals as A and B, then when the first half cycle comes across secondary, A terminal becomes positive and this becomes negative. So this positive is connected to anode and negative is connected to cathode. Okay, anode means positive terminal, cathode means negative terminal. Now, when positive is connected to positive and negative is connected to negative, we say that the diode is forward biased. Okay, when the diode is forward biased, it conducts current. Therefore, this first positive half cycle appears across the output. In the second case, when the second half cycle of the input AC, which is a negative half cycle, if it comes across secondary, then terminal A becomes negative and B becomes positive. Therefore, what happens? The diode is said to be reverse biased, and we know that when the diode is reverse biased, it does not conduct. Okay, so therefore there is no half cycle, this negative half cycle does not appear across the output, across the RL. In the third case, again the cycle continues. Third half cycle comes here, A becomes positive and B becomes negative, diode conducts, and we find the half cycle appearing across RL. Fourth case, this becomes negative and this becomes positive, so therefore no conduction. Okay, so we see that this is the input AC and this is pulsating DC. We call this as pulsating DC. This is simply a half wave rectifier. So half wave rectifier means out of the complete cycle we are just getting half the cycle at the output. If you look at the next classification, which is a full wave rectifier circuit, let me keep these two diagrams as it is. We'll change just this circuit diagram. So the first one is center tapped rectifier. The first classification of the rectifier circuit is center tapped rectifier. So in this case, we have two diodes. We name this as D1 and this as D2, right? Okay, this is RL. We take the output across RL. Now when the first half cycle comes across secondary, so A becomes positive and B becomes negative. When this happens, we can see positive is connected to positive and this negative is connected to negative. So D1 becomes forward biased, but negative is connected to positive here. This is reverse biased. Okay. So diode D1 is forward biased and D2 is reverse biased. When D1 is forward biased, this conducts current. This is the flow of current. If we mention these two terminals P and Q here, in the first case when D1 is conducting, the current flows through D1 and from P to Q across through the RL. Okay. So therefore the first half cycle appears across output, that is RL. Second case, when the negative half cycle, that is the second half cycle, comes across secondary, A becomes negative and B becomes positive. Diode D1 now becomes forward biased, but D2 becomes forward biased, but D1 will become reverse biased. In this case, this does not conduct, this conducts. The current flow direction is like this, flowing from P to Q. Therefore, what happens? We find the next half cycle appearing as positive half cycle, because in both the cases the current flow direction is from right to left. Therefore, we mention that both the half cycles has positive half cycles at the output. So the cycle continues. Third half cycle also comes at the secondary. A becomes positive, D1 conducts, D2 will not conduct. Okay. So the first cycle is due to the conduction of D1, the second cycle is due to the conduction of D2, the third cycle will be the conduction of from the conduction of D1, and the fourth cycle will be due to D2. Okay. So this is the input AC. When passed through this particular circuit, we get a pulsating DC. Okay. So this is center tapped rectifier where we are using only two diodes. But when we look at the third classification, which is a full wave bridge rectifier. Okay, full wave, that is bridge rectifier. If I draw the circuit, the circuit looks like this. We have 4 diodes, D1, D2, D3 and D4. Again, this is a step down transformer. We apply 230 volts at the primary. We mention these two terminals as A and B, and we mention these 2 points here as P and Q. Okay. So in case of half wave rectifier, we have only one diode. In case of center tapped full wave rectifier, we have two diodes, and in this case we have four diodes. Input is AC. When the first positive half cycle comes across secondary, terminal A becomes positive and terminal B becomes negative. When A is positive, we can see that positive is connected to positive diode D1 is forward biased, negative is connected to negative diode D3 is forward biased. Okay, so when the first half cycle comes across secondary, diodes D1 and D3 becomes forward biased, but D2 and D4 becomes reverse biased. Okay, so once this happens, the current's flow direction will be from A, it move towards this point P, then through RL, then through D3 and back to B. This is the current flow direction. So we will get the first half cycle across the RL due to the conduction of D1 and D3. The second case, what happens? Terminal A becomes negative when the second half cycle comes across secondary, and B becomes positive. Positive with respect to positive, means positive connected to positive, D2 becomes forward biased, and this negative connected to negative, D4 becomes forward biased. Okay, so in the second case, D2 and D4 are forward biased. This is the first case. Okay, so in this case, the current flow direction is from B, then it passes D2, comes back to Q, moves through D4. Okay, moves through D4. This is the current flow direction. Okay, so therefore the second half cycle is represented across RL. This continues, the cycle continues. Again, when the third half cycle comes across secondary, then due to the conduction of D1 and D3, we find the half cycle represented at the output. When the fourth half cycle comes, now D2 and D4 conducts, and we find that this half cycle is represented at the output. Okay, so here also we can see that in the first case, when A was positive, okay, when D1 and D3 are conducting, the current flow direction is from P to Q, top to bottom. In the second case also, when D2 and D4 are conducting, again the current flow direction is from top to bottom. Therefore, all the half cycles appears as positive half cycles. Okay, now we can see that this is a AC and this is a DC. Okay, a perfect DC. But when we obtain the output from the rectifier circuit, we can see that this is not the perfect DC. Therefore, we call it as pulsating DC. So, to convert this pulsating DC to a perfect DC, we go for filter circuits. Now the explanation regarding filter circuits, that we will be doing in the next class. Thank you.